Greetings from London. This is Mariam Sharif, and welcome to the Style Moguls. This week, we have such an amazing guest all the way from Dubai. She's a mother and model, been featured in British Vogue several times, and she's redefined when life begins at 40. Have you ever heard of that? So, Style Moguls is all about changing perceptions, not how you see the world, but how you see yourself. And this woman will change how you view yourself. And she's done it for herself. She's reinvented herself all the way from Dubai. Caroline Labouchere. Welcome.
Beautifully said. Thank you for the beautiful welcome. First of all, I am English. I'm from London, but yes, I'm currently in Dubai.
And how long have you been in Dubai?
14 years.
Wow.
Long time.
For some reason, I just thought you had recently moved. I was actually watching some of the videos with your daughter, and she is the one who actually instigated your journey into modeling. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, she actually is a model. She started modeling when she was 14, and then she took a gap from modeling. She went to London and was working for a company called Number One Rosemary Water, which then became Number One Botanicals, I think. And they were looking for a grey model. And she said, "It's a picture of my mum. My mum has grey hair." And they flew me to London and I got the job. Amazingly.
How have you been perceived as a model who is older with your image, with your look?
I think generally good. I get work, that's great, but I think there's still a huge perception of age, of grey hair, and what you are supposed to be at this age and with grey hair. So people assume that I'm a grandparent already.
Right. But can I just say that you just recently, just a few months ago, have turned 60, and 60 doing splits. Can I just say that I saw that video of yours?
Well, thank you very much. That was my mission. I've never done it before in my life, probably will never do it again. But it was my mission by the time I was 60 to do it. And it was a bit of a rush at the end, and literally my trainer had to push me down, but I did it the day before my birthday.
For a woman, I feel that she always puts her career on hold. She has family or caring duties. And then sometimes, especially in South Asian culture, Arab culture, we kind of down the pecking order. We never really prioritize ourselves. Now, you've just turned 60 and you look fabulous. Like you've completely reinvented yourself. How is being 60 compared to like when you were like 25? Or 30?
Well, even compared to 40 or even my early 50s, because my first modeling job came to me when I was 54, and I had never contemplated, never dreamed of modeling before that.
Never thought about anything?
No, I was a school receptionist for 6.5 years living out here, and I had got to that stage where I was beginning to feel invisible. I was, I think as a parent, you generally prioritize your husband and your children.
Yes.
But after that, it is available to you generally to prioritize yourself, but we don't do that because we have been brought up generationally to sit back and push the younger people
push others
forward
actually
in our lives.
Yeah, exactly. Promote others, push others, and if one
it's their time, we've had our time, it's their time, but that's rubbish.
When you're going for your jobs, are you perceived as somebody who's just in the role because of your hair color or your age, or really for your campaigns and for your mission and for your voice?
Both. If I'm employed as a model, i.e. anyone with grey hair, I tend to move away from those jobs now because I am known to a certain extent. Therefore, they're getting the personality as well as the model. My passion in life isn't just to go and be a a
Yes.
random grey hair model. It is to encourage women to be excited about aging. And I was
Yes.
so excited for my 60th birthday, more excited than my 40th. I cried on my 40th, I think.
Wow,
But
wonderful.
it's so I as much as I love to work and I love to model,
Yes.
that isn't my priority. I just want to speak to women, really.
Yeah, I love your mission as you want to help others find their passion. And I love that because I find that once you find your passion, then everything becomes more effortless. But once you
Mm.
embarked and you started your career in modeling, how did you feel and like where did you get that confidence? Because obviously it's a very hard industry
Yes.
to be
And
accepted
more
in.
so as women.
Yes,
Yeah.
and women.
It's I'll still get a WhatsApp saying we're looking for a old woman aged
Mm.
50 to 65. And then it'll say man aged 60 to 70. It won't say old man. It'll
Mm.
only say old woman. Because if you're employing a man in a modeling scene, if you
Mm.
imagine a hotel advert,
Mm.
for example, the guy can be he can be any age,
Yes,
grey
yes.
hair, good looking guy, aged well. The
Mm.
woman, probably going to be in her 40s because they like to put somebody with brown hair and that age. So for me, I'm perceived as the granny. So in the scene,
Right.
I don't consider myself old enough to have had, a 35, 40-year-old
Yeah.
child.
Again, yeah,
Um, but
absolutely.
that is the perception.
I'm
Mm.
51. I turned 51 in April, and it's really strange because I've never said it in a podcast. Nobody really knows me, but in my Instagrams, everybody thinks I'm like either 30s or 40s, or I think again it's a very much of an energy. It's how you present yourself. It's how you keep up with the times. Do you love your life? An indication for me of somebody who ages well or is anti-aging is very much someone who's in love with their life.
Yes, yes, because we another thing we have to learn, and I'm doing a big we here,
Yeah.
but in learning about ourselves is to be allowed to love ourselves. You're allowed to look in the mirror and
Mm.
think, I look great today.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that. But growing up, we are taught not to do
Mm.
that, or we were taught not to do that because it was vanity. So
Yes.
you
Yeah.
weren't allowed to think that you were beautiful, and you could get dressed up and look your best, but you were never allowed to look in the mirror and go, oh, I look pretty hot.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just didn't happen. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's a whole growth period of time. I think 50s and 60s, you've got the menopause. So perimenopause starts at the age of 37, which is 10 years before menopause.
Yeah.
So as long as you're in check and um, know that your hormones, just like a teenager, are going
Yeah.
berserk. And even if you're in your 60s, you can still, if you find the right doctor, you can still go on HRT in your 60s
Yes.
because of your bone, brain, and heart
That's
health.
yes.
So it is essential. It's also essential to confidence. And
Yes.
because that is something, because of the loss of testosterone, it is very likely that you will be feeling less secure in yourself.
These days, everyone is on camera, even as business owners. Everyone seems to be, life is online. If you're not online, you kind of disappear.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
any advice who want to be on camera and something that you've learned from your modeling career, a confidence hack that you can share with everyone?
I think less is more in the makeup department, for example.
Yes.
Don't use a filter because due to menopause, you may have a bit of brain fog and you won't necessarily remember the filter you used yesterday. So it's best not to ever use a filter. And
That's a point, actually. Yeah.
yeah, it is. I think getting my eyes fixed was one of the best things that
Oh,
I
right. But
could
you
have
had
done
surgery?
for self-confidence. I had new lenses put in my
Oh,
eyes. So I had presbyopia, when you're looking at your phone or your watch and
oh,
nothing's quite far
oh
enough
my gosh, I'm
away
going there.
to
Yeah.
focus. Of course, it's normal, but you can get your lenses replaced, which I did. And literally, you get one eye done, you come out being able to read. And
Yes.
then a week later, they check your eyes and you get the other eye done. I don't need glasses anymore. So
Yes.
that's a bit of a hack. Learning to take selfies. which
Yeah.
is again goes against everything I was ever taught.
Yeah.
But getting confident and know that you're going to have to take 100 to get one good one. That's fine. Don't expect to get a good one
Right.
first time round. If you do it, it's like, how did I do that? But you're
Yeah.
never going to repeat it again. You can collaborate with people. When you start modeling, you need photos of different genres. So
Absolutely.
you can go to a university, you can go to, you can look on Facebook, Instagram, try and find a photographer that needs photos also. Then you find a stylist who needs photos and a makeup artist also. You get all of those people, or they, just gather together. They'll generally know each other, and you just go and get pictures. Hopefully there's going to be one that you all love, and then you will all use it, and the ball just starts rolling. I had to do that a lot when I came back from my first shoot in London with this fabulous pictures. That's one behind me.
Yeah.
But when I went to modeling agencies, they said, well, what else have you got? Nothing, but look at these.
Yes.
They're absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. Wasn't good enough. So if you're serious about it, you have to get a lot of pictures under your belt, and it's going to give you confidence. So it's worth doing.
As a makeup artist and as a stylist, we always say, you should have at least 20 pictures and different kind of variations, outdoor, indoor,
Yes.
black and white, and really kind of
No
understanding.
makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my friends, like, I even know I had an older camera, I think a couple of years ago, and they're like, you take our pictures because you take the best pictures. And so there I am taking everybody, oh, we don't know how to pose. And I feel like, again, it's the confidence. It's kind of, I also feel it's very much accepting yourself. When you accept yourself offline, being online is so much easier because you know who you are. You're not really there to impress anybody. You just kind of, it's in your core. Your essence knows
Yes.
that what you want to say and your message. So that is
And that you're not going to fit into everybody else's tribe.
absolutely,
You will grow, and you will find a tribe that is accepting of you, and you will join together and become stronger and support each other. That's another thing about
yeah,
our age. A child is brought up in a village by all the ages in the village. We
yes,
don't have villages anymore, and no one listens
yes.
to our age group because everyone knows better than we do.
Of course. Isn't this a big, I feel
Yes.
social media, like especially the younger generations, and I speak because like I'm in my fifth decade now, I can say this. But also I feel that because everything is online, it's so readily available on YouTube or, social media, people think that they know it all. And so lived experience is very much different, people, to having experience from just a
Yeah.
textbook or a video. And when you
Yeah.
replicate that, I think everybody thinks that they're a life coach. I mean, I think somebody who's over 40, 40, I mean, you can be a life coach then, but like what life experience and what are you going to teach, because you kind of have second knowledge and you dilute that. But yeah, I feel that. But I love your lives because they're so educational. Every topic is different. I've tried to catch one or two of them, and I just find them like amazing, from body language to health. Health is something that you
Yes.
concentrate on. Have you always been
But
this?
who does that?
Pardon?
Who concentrates on their health?
Yes.
Seriously, I know the women will see King Charles, for example, and say, right, to their husbands, go and get a prostate check or
Yes.
whatever you have to do.
Yes.
But when did a woman get her heart checked?
Mm.
Women die of heart disease. That's the number one thing women die of. So they'll go and get their mammograms. But I know
Know
a doctor
that.
here,
So
for
it's number
example, her
one leading.
mother died of a heart attack. She had symptoms
Hmm.
and called the hospital, and they said, don't worry, because the symptoms are different for a woman. I think it's like a flu feeling that a woman gets when
Okay.
she's going to have a heart attack. We women need to get
Yes.
heart checks. It's so important, but of all the women I know, they don't. And then they go and get a stress test. And one woman I know actually ended up having 3 stents immediately after her stress test at the age of 62.
What does a heart test involve? Like a ECG
A
or
stress test.
a
A
stress test?
stress. So it's walking on a treadmill, and they
Oh,
check your
right.
heart
Yes. So
while
they
you're
they
walking.
monitor your heart. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I was lucky enough to have an angiogram, which is kind of the gold standard of because in Dubai you don't need to make appointments. I mean,
Yes.
you don't need to go through a GP. You can just make an appointment. And I had an angiogram, and that's when they put the dye through, and you can actually see your
Yes.
heart. But we don't prioritize
What
our
a
health.
great reminder.
Women do not.
I absolutely have totally dismissed it. If I'm absolutely honest, I didn't even think about getting a heart checked or a stress test. But
Mm, mm.
a wonderful, wonderful reminder. I feel that as we get older, health should be a priority, because if we don't invest in ourselves, we live in this body, we have to invest in it. We need to love it. We need to. This is home for us. Who else will look after us?
It is, but it isn't just.
Mm. Uh,
I'm
What do you do
I've
for
got a
your health
live, I
then?
think in a couple of weeks, I've got a live with a doctor in India, and
Okay,
he is trying to encourage Asian people to look at what they're eating, and
right.
that vegans in India or vegetarians tend
Mm.
to be overweight. They tend to have these sort of pregnant bellies. And so he is going to be talking all about this. I cannot wait to speak to him because he's so informative.
And you would think
But
that vegetarian or being vegetarian, it's the first thing you think
you
of, like,
would.
oh, well, you're healthy because you
Yes.
eat vegetables. So
Yes, but it's the
having
carbohydrates.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it depends how you cook it, how you prepare your food, and all those things. And I find that South
Yes,
Asian diets are very rich. But I think South Asian, that we love our spices. We love everything. We just put everything in it, and we want everything. But it's very high cholesterol, blood pressure, heart attack.
yeah. You
Again,
don't.
it's the cause
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
And changing our understanding and re-educate. I think it's about re-educating yourself, isn't it, really?
It is. But we don't we look at the food pyramid. Nobody has turned that upside down yet. When are they actually going to? When is the government going to turn the
Mm.
pyramid upside down? Because it is completely wrong. So while I'm speaking to you and getting experts to speak to you to help you discover, you can
Yes,
then Google, and the government's telling you that's the food pyramid. Eat
yeah.
all of these carbohydrates at the bottom, and then lastly, the things at the top. It should be like that.
Mm.
An argument is that in my age is that women are saying, "Oh, just enjoy life. Just
Mm.
now's the time to enjoy it and have a glass of wine and this, that, and the other."
Mm.
Think about the repercussions. Think about
Mm.
ending up in an old people's home, because that is why I prioritize my health, because I don't want to sit in an old people's home for 10 to
Yes,
15
yes.
years.
My father always said, I want to be independent right to the end. Like, I don't want to be dependent on anybody. I want to walk to the toilet myself. I want to go out and I want to make my own cup of tea. I don't want to be
Mm,
that mindset
mm,
really did elevate his life. He said, if you stop,
yes.
you'll rust. So keep on going.
Beginning of the end.
Yes. So
Exactly.
keep on
A wise
moving.
man.
Yeah, keep on moving. Very wise. Gave me some real nuggets, which I carry on until now. So really, he ate organic, and back in the days, like we're talking about 40 years ago, organic. We lived in Gloucestershire, so in the countryside, we had an acre of land at the back. We had dams and trees and apples, and so just
Oh,
the beautiful place. And I didn't understand it then. I didn't understand or value
no.
even where I lived. So in Gloucester, beautiful. We could see the Malvern Hills from our cottage, absolutely stunning. But now I realize how wise and how future forward my father's thinking was of being organic, walking, fresh air. And
Mm.
so, what do you feel that as with age, what should women really focus on when it comes to health? What have you done?
I think the easiest thing is to think about the opposite, the consequence to every
Right.
action you take. So it's okay to have a glass of wine. I love a glass of champagne,
Yeah.
but I probably would have one a month. And it would be when I'm out socializing. It wouldn't be at home in the evening. I'm lucky that my husband doesn't drink, so I don't have any pressure
Right.
from another half. Also, he is of the same mindset. He wants to remain as healthy as he can, as long as he can. We both love a bit of chocolate, and at the weekend, we will have chocolate or we will have ice cream. During the
Yeah.
week, no.
Yeah.
Focused, absolutely strong, as low carbohydrate as possible. And but we both have the same mindset. We both want to be slim and healthy, and we motivate each other.
It's beautiful, actually, that when your partner or your family also is of that same mindset, because it just makes things so much easier to then accomplish, because you're both trying to make that person better and better for each
Yes,
other. So if you're better and
yes.
you feel better, you look strong, you're stronger, you feel healthy, because you have to feel healthy, you don't just look healthy. I think feeling healthy is really ultimate. But how has he supported you in your journey then? He's amazing. He's recently
Um,
done the Ironman, hasn't he?
Ironman, yes, he did. Yes, the World
Congratulations. Yeah.
Championships. He has done it a few times.
Oh, wow.
He came ninth in his age group, ninth out of about 160 or something. So that was pretty good. His mission is to win it when he's about 70, 80. So
Oh,
that's
wonderful.
his mission.
Oh,
And I
and
think it's good to have a mission.
is it a yearly thing? Is it
The
a
Ironman happens every year, that the World Championships
yes.
happen every year, but you have to qualify. So you have to do another race and you have to be first or second in that race to then qualify for the World Championships.
Right,
So
right.
so in his age group, he probably, I think his next, it won't be, he will do other regular Ironmen, but he won't compete for the World Championships until I think he said 2028, because
Right.
he wants to be the youngest in the next age group. So if
Right.
he did it again, he'd be mid late for his
Mm,
age group,
right.
with all the youngsters coming up behind him. My youngsters, I call them the 60-year-olds. It's all about mindset. And so if I see David pick up a packet of biscuits, I'll say, oh, sure you want those? And then the decision is up to him. Yes, he's done a marathon today. He feels like eating a biscuit, so he's going to eat a biscuit or not.
I
His
think
choice.
it's keeping each other accountable, isn't it? And I think you need someone who supports your journey, because the closest person to you when you're married is your husband, and
Yes.
you need that support to flourish, to fly, basically.
And if it's not your husband,
Yes, if you're not
if you
married.
don't have that partner around, it's surrounding yourself with positive people.
Mm,
So you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So
mm,
if you want to lose weight, don't surround yourself with overweight people, for example. Surround yourself with the people that you want to be like.
yeah,
And it will happen, because they won't all be sitting there drinking a cup of tea, eating cake, which is
exactly.
lovely, by the way.
Yeah, now and
But
again, yeah, it's nice to have
it's
a
all
treat.
about choices and
Yes,
the using the right words, bigging people up instead of pushing people down. So if you want to go grey, for example, don't hang around with the people who say, "Don't do it, don't
yeah.
do it." You look so much better with brown hair. She
Mm,
wants to go grey.
yeah.
Support her.
Yes, I think it really is about the people that you surround. And I feel it's contagious when somebody has a very abundant, uh, positive mindset, good energy. I feel that's contagious, and you want to be like that as well. And I think it's all about lifting people up. And
Yes.
even if someone's not doing so well, then just remind them of who they are. I have friends who sometimes, well, like you said, words are so important and so profound that I remember, and I don't normally do this because I'm very good about speaking good to myself, but I caught I was just saying something. My friend caught me just straight away, and she's the kindest soul. She's so sweet, and she goes, "Mariam, stop it." She says, "Stop it, don't
Yes.
do." I said, what are you
Exactly.
saying? And so that was, and I was like, "Oh my God, what was I saying?" Because you're in the moment, you
Yeah.
don't realize. And then you need that, and that's
Yes.
wonderful to have good
You
female
do.
friendships, also around that are it makes you
It's
accountable.
um I had coffee with somebody this morning, and she was saying, I didn't know this about her. I'm a glass half full person, and my husband is a glass half empty. And
Right.
I said to her, oh my God, now I know why you make comments and why you say, when I say, have you done X yet? And she's, no, I haven't. She's got this person who's trying to empty her glass every day.
Mm.
That must be so hard.
It is, yeah, I've been there, done it. It is hard when you have to fight every day for like being you. And like, I know we
Yeah.
throw this word around of being authentic, but really finding your true voice and being
Mm.
you are, really standing in your truth. It takes a lot of courage. You have to be brave. You really have to conquer yourself. You have a really great following and you've done so well. Do you find what people hating on you and how do you deal
Mm,
with it and things like that? Because
sometimes.
that's what scares women to be on social media. And what I've heard from my women that I teach is that they don't like it. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to even encounter that. And so they stop themselves from even voicing their beautiful message and how they could help so many other women.
Yeah.
Mm,
You just have to remember that they are not your tribe. It is not easy when somebody has a go at you.
yeah.
I just want to sit them down and say, why?
Yeah.
Where is this
This isn't that.
coming from? I
Yes.
just want to pick the phone up or actually go and meet them
Yeah.
and talk to them. But that doesn't happen. So it's
Yeah.
just a question of trying to. Sorry about that. It's
Yeah.
just a question of I
Some
don't
people
know.
say
It's just,
ignore it. Some people say don't indulge in it. And yes, you do. I
but
mean,
it does. It still gets in your head. You
yeah,
can't unread it,
you can't unread it.
basically.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I honestly, I probably will then tell David,
Yeah.
and he'll say, "Don't say anything," because
Yeah.
I just want to go straight in there. I say, "Don't say anything. Don't comment." And if I do, they'll come back and say, "You put yourself out there. You just have to take the rough with the smooth," and
Yeah.
they're right.
Because the
But
good
then go
outweighs
away,
the good
go
outweighs.
away.
Yeah. And the good outweighs the bad, right? Like so the that's just
Hopefully,
minor
yes,
compared to
it's
the
minor.
yeah, to the
It is.
magnificence and the impact that you're making actually. So
It is.
that is
And that's what David reminds me of. He
yeah.
says, so how many comments did you get? And you say X. And he says, and how many negatives? And you say one. Well, there you go then. But
Exactly.
it doesn't mean it doesn't, it doesn't stick there and
Yeah.
you know,
So,
think about it
can
too
you
much.
walk us through a day in your life? Like, what is your routine? Because they talk about being, having a good morning routine to set the day. Uh, can you walk us through like what you do to keep yourself, mentally and physically um fit and active? Because you are so active, you're stylish and you're graceful, but I think that comes from a lot of uh, I think it's mental and physical workouts as well. How does that look for you in a day in the life of Caroline? Do you wake up early? What is your routine?
I do. I do. I'm not a yogi or a meditation
Mm.
person at all. I find it very difficult to quiet my brain.
Right.
Um, I keep on saying when I grow up, I'll do that. Um, but I'm not
I
there
love
yet.
it.
I'm in too much of a hurry to get somewhere, and I
Yeah.
don't even know where I'm going. But I'm in a hurry. I'm in Leo, and I want to do it today. I
Yeah.
don't want to wait.
Yes.
So I get up in the morning, and I've got a little dog, and she sleeps with us. David's gone by 4:30 every morning. So she does a little stretch, and when she does a little stretch, I do it
Yeah.
stretch as well. And then I generally I have a stretching class. I love my stretching classes.
Right.
I have been a runner all my life.
Right.
Never stretched, didn't stretch before, didn't stretch after.
Yeah.
Now my life is full of stretching, hence the split. Um, and I
That's
feel,
one big
I
stretch.
can be, yeah, I can be in a class with 30-year-olds and they can hardly touch their toes. And I'm
Yes.
thinking, I can do that. I've
Yeah.
got this. I'm going to keep doing it because if I'm that supple and that mobile and can keep it up,
Mm.
yes, you have to do weights. I'm not good at doing weights. but everyone's talking about weights and muscles.
Strength
Yes, they are so
training.
important, but
Yes.
stretching, surely, if you
Yes.
fall and you can actually get yourself up from cross legs, which I can do without your hands,
Yes.
I think that's great.
Have you always been slim though? Have you always had a very,
I
slim
have,
figure?
but it's
Yeah.
always been important. And it
Right.
was
It's always
important
been
to
a
my
priority.
mum. I was brought up that way. It's a priority.
Yes.
Anyway, so today, for example, I had to go and collect some clothes because I've got a shoot in a couple of days. I'm borrowing clothes from a store. So I had to go and collect those. Then I managed to have a coffee with a friend and we
Yes.
got that chatting because that's good for the soul, isn't it? If you have time to do that and
Absolutely.
chew the fat, as they say. Then we've got builders, as I'm really sorry you might be able to hear in the background.
I was going to say, is there something? Well, yeah. I just
Yes, I'm really sorry.
yeah.
They're having to repeat the job and repeat it and repeat it. It's not a big
Yeah.
job, but it's taking forever. And so I had to race back because unfortunately one of our dogs passed away,
Oh, no,
and
so
so we
sorry.
only have the one little one, and she's
Oh,
lost.
devastated, of
The
course.
race home to be with her. Then I've got you. Then I've got a dinner tonight.
Well,
So I have no idea what I'm wearing. Um, yeah, there's just every day's different.
like, do you spend a lot of time thinking about I have to exercise, or because it becomes routine, doesn't it? Your body misses not working out or not stretching. I think it becomes. I'm a walker. I'm a Forrest Gump of walking. I love it. I've just got plantar fasciitis at the moment,
Amazing.
which is killing me. But I love
Oh,
walking. That's my kind of getting out in the fresh air and just like looking,
mm.
just taking the scenery. So, do you find that you also your body craves exercise or you're stretching?
Stretching definitely, because especially if I'm flying, if I get back, the
Yeah.
first thing I want to do is get into a full body stretching class, because there's nothing worse than being
Yeah.
in a ball, especially overnight. I love the way it makes me feel, being fluid.
Yeah.
That is really important. I also actually I do have an app. I'm a big believer in The Secret.
Yeah.
Did you know the books The Secret?
Yes, absolutely.
And I have
Yes.
The Secret app, and so at the end of the day, at I think I don't know 5:30 or 6 o'clock, it
Yes.
says, "What are you grateful for today?" And so every day I'll write down what I'm grateful for, and that's a bit of a
Do you do
thing that
journaling, or
I
is that
do.
your form of kind of like
Yeah, that's it. That's as far as
that?
I again bought a book, put it
Yeah.
by the bed. No,
Yeah. And again,
I'll
it's
do
about
that when
what
I've grown
works for
up too.
you, doesn't you? They like you said, I didn't know that there was an app and I didn't know it existed because I'm a writer. I've got to write it all down. I do feel like in this such a busy world that we live in, like trying to make time for yourself and write, like even having a morning routine, by the time you're doing the morning routine, I'm exhausted. I was like, I don't want to do all of my morning routine in the morning. I want to do it in increments because, it takes like 2, 3 hours. And oh my God, I'm exhausted. I don't want to be
Mm,
doing this.
mm.
So yeah, absolutely. I think, one thing is that whatever works for you should do what works for you.
Yes,
Find your own rhythm,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. I recently, I keep being asked what I eat in a day, and so recently I did a post about what I eat in a day, which is not a lot.
How
And
interesting.
for
Yeah.
me, I don't need to eat a lot, and I'm healthy. I have blood tests, and I am happy and
So
healthy.
what do you eat then? Like, have you explained
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You can
like,
watch the post. Um,
okay.
but I don't. I haven't eaten yet today. What time is it? It's 2:43.
Is it like intermittent
And
fasting?
it's just the way I've always lived. I didn't like breakfast when I was at school, so I've never really eaten breakfast. Um,
Oh,
I did Atkins back in the day in the 80s, I
yes.
think.
Yes.
It's just now I'm finding out the things that I do tend to be the right things if you follow that way of thinking.
Yes.
And it, like you said, it works for me.
Works.
So I tend to eat one meal a day.
Caroline, it's a really fascinating what you just said because you said you don't eat. So my mother's she's 77 and she's she used to play netball for Pakistan. She was like, she's an athlete. She's had 2 kneecap replacements, but she's still like on the move. She still likes to do stuff. She had a fall recently, but she does something very different as well. She says, I'm only going to eat when I'm hungry. Why are you forcing me to eat when I'm not hungry? And I'm like, we have it
Exactly.
in our minds that we have to eat 3 times a day, have a little snack in
Yes.
between. And
Yes.
she said, why are you forcing me, bitter? Like, why are you forcing me to have something to eat when I'm not hungry? I'll eat when I'm hungry.
Yes.
I was like, no,
Yes.
don't eat too late because then, like your heart, the pressure. And she's like, she has her own rhythm again.
Yeah, you don't want to eat late for sure, because
No,
you don't
no,
want to be
yeah,
lying in bed with a full
yes,
stomach,
yes.
and
That is
that's
something
just
that I'm
common
concerned about with
sense.
her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my evening meal, it won't tonight because I'm going out to eat, but I probably won't eat very much. I'm going out at 8, but normally we eat around 6:30.
Because I was gonna say being so social and then having to avoid eating. I mean, like food and
But I'm
socializing
not
go
avoiding
together.
it. It isn't, I'm not putting myself through any angst in not eating it.
Yeah.
There'll be, if there's I'll be out at an Italian, for example, and there will be the most amazing bread and it will just waft. I'll eat a little bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not
Not going to deny yourself anything in that sense.
exactly.
Yes.
It's not a
Mm.
painful thing.
Yeah.
If I'm modeling tomorrow, I don't want to be bloated, so I won't eat the bread.
Yes. That's sensible. Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
is about, is
Yes.
it worth it?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So I remember I was I did Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. That's one of my mentors in the beginning when I changed my mindset. And he said, uh, diet is not good for you because diet means dying. Like the first word is to die. So to diet is to die. So don't deny yourself, but it's again finding the right, what's good for
And
you.
it has to
Everybody's
be
different.
sustainable.
Yeah, and
Mm,
sustain absolutely because you'll end up putting on more weight and just doing
mm,
damage to yourself.
mm.
Is there
Yeah,
any
oh, I can't be bothered with this, and I'm not enjoying it. Whatever.
do you believe in like supplements?
I take a collagen gel, which is very much, it is a
Yes.
bovine gel, and it's just like the jelly that you get when you boil bones,
You mean it's internal or external?
internal.
Oh, internal. You yes.
So yeah, and it lives in the fridge, and you just literally, it's apple flavored, and you just take it's just like eating apple flavored jelly.
Oh,
So I
wonderful.
do that every day, and I take the D, C, magnesium.
Yes.
I'll try anything basically. If you give me a
Yeah.
pill that tells me it's gonna age
Can,
me backwards, I'll try
yes.
it.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work, then I'll stop taking it.
Right. So definitely collagen.
But
I do
I'm
feel that it's
yeah.
definitely one of those ingredients. I'm using Zuki at the moment, and so have you heard of that? Zuki? I haven't actually, Caroline. I'm 51, and I haven't used any Botox or fillers. Um, and I've just done micro needling, and it's not because I don't want to, or I think I'm just naturally kind of Botox, kind of full face because since of just putting weight on after COVID, and also, I don't believe that age. People say, "Oh, it's age," you're putting on weight because it's age. It's like, no, that's nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's my
It
own.
does have something to do with it.
It is, yeah.
It
Your body
does.
does
Yeah.
change. Your body does change.
Yes, you
Yeah.
don't need as much food as you needed before. I know there are people who say you need food. My body doesn't.
Hmm.
Maybe yours does, but
Yes.
just think of the consequences. Another thing you can do is to get
A
an
great way of
MRI
thinking, isn't it?
scan.
I love the way
It
that you
is.
just said that. Look at the consequences of what you're eating. Because I was always taught by my father, food is fuel for your body. It's not entertainment. You're not there to be entertained by food. And
Unless
so,
it's popcorn, unless you're at the cinema.
absolutely. So a great
But
way of,
to get your visceral fat. It's another thing you cannot unsee because they take a scan of your body and then they slice it in half, and you can see if you have fat around your organs. Now we all know that we do not want fat around our organs,
yes,
which
absolutely.
is going to put them under pressure. So that's another thing you can do if you can afford to do it. It's
Yeah.
something that you cannot unsee. Put it on your fridge.
Right.
Why are you going to the fridge? Start a list of
Mm.
things that you eat during the day. Why did you eat that? It's really interesting. I'll go to the fridge and I'll look in the fridge, and I won't see, although I do the shopping, I won't see anything I want to eat, and I'll just close the door and walk away.
Yes.
Why do I do that? Why do I'm not hungry. Why am I going to the fridge and looking in it?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Boredom, probably.
Yes, most of it is because you're trying to fill in that time with something, right?
Mm.
So, for an example, like smokers, if they smoke, people say, "Oh, it relaxes me." Like when I get stressed, it relaxes me. But the fact is, when you smoke, like breath work, you inhale. So you inhale the cigarette, right? And then so you're doing deep breaths. It's actually breath work. It's not the
Mm.
actual, okay, yes, there's nicotine, of course, you're going to get that hit. But it's actually, if you actually replace a cigarette with breath work and just inhale and just use breath work to control your emotions, you'll actually see a major difference. Exactly the same thing that they do.
That's very interesting. I'm
Yes.
not sure you could persuade many smokers that
But
they could
yeah,
just breathe
an
without the
introduction
cigarette.
to kind of um uh, we kind of emotionalize things. I think people don't understand their emotions. So I think
Mm.
evaluating your own emotions, why you feel certain way, how you can
Yeah.
choose another path, or like really understanding yourself is the key, isn't it? Like if you don't, I feel like you can walk around this world aimlessly. Like you have passions, you have aspirations, understanding what you're here to do on this earth. And I love the statement that you have. You know your passions. You want to also, we're nurturers, we've been nurturers, and how we are now, we have a role, we have a role in society. And
We
I feel
do.
like that kind of dismissed, but I feel there's a wave of new influences and what was role models, but influences that are really kind of going to take over. I feel there's a change coming, a change to the fact that
Yeah,
nobody's
it is. It's
is.
trickling through what's going on. When during the whole menopause period, either our husbands have no idea why we're changing, why we're
Yes.
acting the way we do, why
Mhm.
we're itching because we have bugs on our shoulders, which is a menopausal symptom. Why you get frozen. I had frozen shoulder in my late 40s. I spent a fortune at the physio. It's flipping menopausal symptom.
There's
I
so
thought it was me sleeping in a bad way.
yeah.
I'm only just learning this now at the age
How
of
many
60.
symptoms are there to menopause? Because I find out
Oh,
something new.
30 something. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
there are so many. There's hearing, there's what's it called when you stand on something high and
Oh,
you're
vertigo? Is it vertigo?
vertigo. That's a
Vertigo.
menopausal. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many,
Yeah.
and but there are some great doctors out there sharing this information. But
Yes.
the fact that we don't know this stuff
Yeah.
and we expect our husbands to tolerate our
Yeah. Yeah.
mood swings
Because
and
it is a major factor, because until you can communicate, but you can't. Is it really comprehending? Like, do they really understand? And so I
well,
think,
we don't.
yeah. Oh,
So we
exactly.
don't know what's going on.
That's true. That's so true. Like,
Mm.
how can you understand? But I guess just to air and express that, okay, I'm feeling this way. And I think men, of the South Asians, I'm going to speak with family. I mean, like, having this topic aired and talked about is
Mm.
very strange. But now discussions like this, where they're actually seeing people talk about it and normalizing this conversation of actually having making sure that you're having mammograms, making sure that you're taking priority of your health, the fact this menopause can take maybe over a decade, couldn't it?
Mm.
It's not a short term.
So, as mothers, we need to be making sure that our sons know about this as well as our daughters. So it isn't just periods and Tampax they know
Yes,
about when they're children. It's stuff
100%.
continues to go on through women's lives. If
Yes,
I'm on a podcast that is run by a man, I'll say to him, "So when did your mum go through menopause?" I won't know the answer to that. Okay,
yes.
so how old is your wife? Is she going through perimenopause? But can you imagine that guy if he goes home and says, "So you're going through menopause?" He'd probably get booted out of the house. But it is. David did actually come onto one of my lives and speak to a menopause doctor,
Oh,
which
right.
was so interesting. And And that one I sent around to people and said, if you're in the car, put
Yeah.
this on so your husband is trapped and he can listen to it.
It's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. He's just got to listen and learn. Yeah.
Actually, it is, again, it's a relearning, isn't it? It's really
Yeah.
understanding and relearning things. But like, how
Yeah.
important is it? I have a friend of mine. She has three boys, and she every time she's feeling a little bit like low or something's going on with her because she's perimenopausal, she will say, "Now I'm not feeling well. You cook your own dinner. I need to rest. Like, I've got the hot water bottle. I'm gonna chill out and relax. You do your stuff. Like, I'm not feeling well." She'll say, "Today I'm not doing this, or today I'm feeling like
Mm,
this." So I think
mm,
that is a new wave, again, teaching and educating her children, because they'll have wives, they'll have kids.
yeah. And
It's
school won't teach them.
and school
It's
doesn't teach.
and also teaching them that because their wife, they might leave their wife, but the second wife, who is younger, will
Yeah.
also become menopausal.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello.
Absolutely. Exactly. You can't escape it. So,
No.
having attraction to just beauty and beauty in the face of just aesthetics, I think, again, sometimes men get this so wrong, because everyone will age, everyone has to go through that process. It's life. It's a
Yes.
natural course of life, and you can't escape it. But the
Yes.
inner beauty that you have is your essence, and which will remain in your confidence and your love, and that's what you bring. That's the
It
longevity
is.
of it all. But I had a really weird conversation with someone on a dating app a few years back, and there's like, we had a conversation, and he was a little bit younger than me. Then he came back and he said to me, then, like literally an hour later, he said, "Oh, are you going through menopause?" "Oh, you know that menopause? Are you going through menopause?" I was like, no, I wasn't at that time. And I was like, "Well, what happened?" But I was impressed the fact that he kind of knew about menopause, but I don't know what
Yeah.
he was trying to imply. That was hilarious.
Yeah. There is no right way of asking that, is
No,
there?
no, there is
Really?
no. I was like, that's so random. I was like, where is it coming from? I don't know.
But I think it's important that if you do not feel good about yourself,
Yes.
you are not going to put that out. So if you are perimenopause, menopausal, and it's hitting you in any which way, you cannot be your happiest.
No,
If
absolutely.
you are not
Yeah.
content with your happiness, with your surroundings,
Mm.
um, with your body,
Yes.
you're not going to be giving off those
Yeah.
signals.
You can't be the
So
best. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't. And giving off all of those vibrations, as you spoke about in the very beginning of this, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, because if you're giving off all those amazing vibrations from the inside, it doesn't matter.
Yes, absolutely.
You'll have these people coming towards you. You'll
Yeah.
draw them to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think naturally you would kind of radiate those people
Mm,
towards you. But I love the
mm.
fact that you and your husband are on social media. You're both like you're a team. It's teamwork.
Yeah, we
It's
are.
really educate, and I think there should be more couples that are actually on social media together, where they're kind of educating each other and being part and supporting each other. I think that's so beautiful. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love the fact that like men are from Mars and women are from Venus, but you both have an opinion, and you're expressing your point of view as a woman and what a woman goes through, and he expresses
Yeah.
how a man perceives things and what he hears and how he understands it, and that I actually love. Yeah.
And I need to be spoken to like I'm a 4-year-old. Seriously, he uses like yesterday we were storing. I think it was PSA.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but he
No, I
had
didn't.
this blood test for his for prostate cancer yesterday,
Yes.
and I think it's called PSA. And I'm saying, isn't that like a tire thing? Isn't that doesn't that which is PSI? But I
Yes.
need to question these things, because
Yeah.
if I'm thinking it, maybe someone else is thinking
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. No,
it. There is no such thing as a silly question.
No, not when it comes to health and I think when you're wanting to better yourself, I don't think that there's a wrong question at all. And I think that your partner, like you said, like your environment, your partner, this is so valuable and it's so lovely to see. Honestly, I love seeing your lives and you're both getting into it and you're really like really is this is what happens and that is what we need. We need people to have like real normal questions and
Yeah.
ask questions. That's the thing. We
And
need
if you don't understand the answer, ask it again.
ask for help, ask for because people will help you. You just have to be brave enough to also ask those
I
things.
had the most amazing live with a doctor who doesn't prescribe anymore. I think she's American. She lives in France. She has a list. You can make an appointment with her, and she will tell you everything you need to ask about menopause of your doctor. So she gives you the
Oh, right.
absolute ammunition that you need because
Yes.
you need to know because not every doctor is going to help you.
No, and I don't think there's menopause specialists at each surgery or at each clinic that you can go to, but not every doctor will know. I mean, first time I
They
spoke to
don't.
somebody, she was like in her early 20s, and I was like, she was giving me this list of things I could do. I was like, love, you don't know nothing. I was like, at first, I was like, I can't even take you seriously. I was like, what are you telling me? I can't, you're not even relatable to me. And I think that's what
Yeah,
really I was
awkward.
alarmed about. Like, yeah, it's like you're giving me something I can read from the internet. Like, that
Yes.
I really want to understand it. I want to get
And we
professional.
don't want to
Fine.
upset anyone either. So we'll just
Yeah.
take it and we'll leave and we won't necessarily go back and see anyone else.
Yes, I think it's not questioning again, not having that
Mm,
probably conviction in yourself to say, I actually don't feel good. I do need an opinion.
yeah.
I do need someone to check me. And that's so
Yeah.
important to advocate for yourself. You must
Yes.
advocate for
And
your own.
another, I know I keep repeating these lives,
Yes.
but I've spoken to some phenomenal women, a woman who has had cancer and had early onset menopause.
Yes.
And
That
she has
happens.
the best sight because if you speak to people and you say, and they immediately shut you down and said, I've had cancer or I've had breast cancer, I'm not doing HRT, I'm not doing any
Oh,
hormones.
because it set, yes, it
Seriously,
can set it off. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she is brilliant, and it doesn't mean no. When you've had any kind of cancer, it isn't necessarily no.
It's a
So
very small,
she has great sights,
it has a
insight.
very small percentage of cancer, that people can.
But heart disease is what people die of. Women don't, at the end of the day, die of breast cancer. Ultimately, it's not
Yes.
on the list of
I can't
things that
believe
we
it.
die of.
I'm just like, every time I have a podcast with anybody, I learn so much from my own guests and
Me too.
realization. I'm like, oh my God, why did I know this? I'm like, how old am I? And I still don't know it. And sometimes you need reminding because again, life is so busy. Your head's full of so many different things. You need these reminders from fellow
Yes,
females or people that just care
yes.
about you. Just like check in with yourself, like
This
understand
is
that.
why having coffee with friends is so
So
important
wonderful.
because we are so good at just
Yeah,
talking to each other.
absolutely. Absolutely. And
Women
I
are the
think
best.
I also feel that women, because they have these social interactions, we can express, we talk our feelings out of our body, we vent, whereas men don't. And I think that's where our successes are because we are able to express, we're able to say how we feel. I mean, female friendships are so important. Every time I'm anywhere in any country, I was in Dubai and I had an international society for over 800 women, we're expats, and I would, every Saturday we'd meet and they were like, we don't know anybody. And so we're so grateful that you've started it off because this society, so we can just speak to each other and, they've
Mm,
come with their husbands or they're here short term, they don't know anybody. And
mm.
you have to speak, you have to talk, you have
It
to,
is important.
it is very, very important. Mentally, it helps you, and I think just just airing things out, just venting, just having somebody that can, you need to be seen and to be heard. I think to just be seen, just to know that you're just there, not to be questioned, but I think that's what females do so well. Just just as you are, just love you as you are. It is not about status or your background, your education. My closest friends or my inner circle, we don't talk about work. We just talk about how are you? What's going on? And that's about it. That's what you have to say. That's how are you? And that's it. That's you just
Yes.
that's enough, isn't it? That's just so that's
And
like medicine.
complimenting people. When
Absolutely.
if I get into an elevator, I will try. I don't even try,
I love that
actually.
as well.
There's
Yeah,
something. Nice shoes, or your hair's so shiny. What do you
yeah,
use?
yeah.
Just something,
I mean,
because
like just
in
what you
doing
said right
that,
at
it
the beginning.
perks them up,
Yes.
and
And it doesn't
it's
cost
a
anything. It's just,
win-win.
but
Doesn't
again,
cost
I
them.
think again, genuine, sincere compliments. I mean, I
Mm.
remember going to an award ceremony and saw this lady and just I was just going into the washroom, and she had this most beautiful red sari on. Oh my God, she looked like a Bollywood actress. And I told her, I was like, you look like her. She goes, oh my God, thank you so much. Nobody gives me a compliment. I've never had a compliment. She was
Oh,
Canadian. And I was like, you look stunning. She actually became a client of mine. I styled her, did a whole wardrobe, and she became a very good friend
you
of
never
mine.
know.
So
Yeah.
it's genuine compliments, which people don't like to, I don't know, it scares it. I mean, people don't want to. It's not going to take anything away from you. Actually, it's a sign of
Mm.
confidence. A woman that is secure with herself, she will compliment another woman. There's nothing, you're not taking anything away from her. I feel like a compliment, like you said, a boost of energy gives you that, what, like, oh, wow, nice.
Mm.
It's like a
Mm.
little reminder that you're looking amazing. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful
I
gesture.
do it to men too. Tell them they
Yeah.
smell amazing. And they
Yeah.
don't, and obviously not if they don't, but if they do,
Do
wow,
you
you
point them out if they
smell
don't as well?
amazing. Can I sniff you again?
Smell is something that I think is over, for me, smell is very important. Like it kind of,
Mm.
because it's
Memory.
sensory perceptions. It
Mm.
ignites something. It ignites creativity. Talking about creativity, what is your creative process? Do you have a creative process when you're working on a project or doing something new? Is there a creative process that you have? How you start something off, or you form an idea? Or what is it? Give
I
us a-
have ideas. They're not always the right ideas, because I do believe strongly that you have to work with your strengths. And
Yes.
so if you try and force it,
Mm,
and do something because you think you should, not necessarily because you can,
mm,
um, and I've tried to do a couple of things and it just doesn't work. And you shouldn't just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, because there's a reason it's not happening.
mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so no, I even, when we go to the cinema, I don't want to know anything about the movie. It's pretty much the same as a job, because I don't want to overthink it before I get
Yes.
there.
I think women
Um,
overthink a lot of things, don't they?
I'm
They
not.
overthink and then they outthink themselves of anything, you know?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
having perceptions and all of that. So I like to go in with a completely clean, open
Yeah.
mind. That's
So
about
have
it,
you
really.
had any times where you felt really challenged and some point in life
Oh,
where you
yeah.
had really a low time? What does, because I think it was learned so much from a woman who's gone through something and brought herself back up again.
Which was probably David, not probably, definitely David losing his job.
Okay.
We'd been here for, I don't know, 6 years, and one of the things in this country is that you can lose your job today. The
Right.
things have changed now, but so we're
Yes.
talking what, about 10 years ago.
Yes.
And so you literally don't have a job today. And that's what happened to us. And we had recently paid off a piece of land in Canada. So every extra bit of money we had was
Mm,
sitting in Canada on that land. And so we had pretty much nothing back here. And I just wanted to go back to England with my
yeah.
tail between my legs.
Mm,
Um, and David said, no, we're staying in Dubai. So we stayed here, and we were sleeping on an apartment floor with no AC and sleeping on a mattress on the floor. Now, I know in the grand scheme of things, this is not the worst that can
yes,
happen. For me, it was
of course.
devastating.
Yes.
David had been in the army all of our married life, so we had always had the security of a
Right.
home. I had married him with that security. So this
Mm,
came as a completely, what's it called, side thing, blindsided. I was
yeah.
blindsided. Um, And also, I had never learned to step up. I had walked behind David. I was brought
Right.
up behind David. So I didn't know what to do at all. I think we got the closest to divorce that we have ever got. We've got the dog, 2 big dogs at that point, sleeping in a suitcase, one either side of the suitcase. Mimi's on a sun lounger in the sitting room. 6 months of that. And David's going to coffee shops, and I think, what are you doing in those coffee shops? Why haven't you got a job yet? And I was not a nice person, without a doubt. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know what to do. Plus, I was probably perimenopausal at this point.
Yes.
I've been on happy pills for 20 years. My citalopram went cold turkey off the happy pills because we couldn't afford to go. You need an appointment every month and you need the medication every month.
Right.
So all of these things, it was a really, really bad time. Then I contacted I was doing Facebook back then, and this white witch that I had used to visit when we lived near Swindon popped up on Facebook. And I thought, oh my God, I haven't spoken to Ruth for a really long time. Maybe she can help me. How's she going to help me? I'm in Dubai. She's in England. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she did. And she pretty much said, you need to step up. You need to take control. I said, how can I do it? And I was sobbing, and I can't. I didn't do it immediately, but the thought process was there. And that is how I changed my mindset by, okay, he can't do anything. He isn't in control. And I was almost losing respect for him. So I had to draw all of that back and realize where he was in his life and what I had to do to move, for us both to move forward.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure and a combination of many things. Sometimes it's just not one thing. When problems occur, it layers, doesn't it? And it just gets worse, and it's one other thing, and it's another, and it magnifies. I think it's an avalanche, isn't it? And all of a sudden, but I think
because good things are not going to be happening to you if you're not having any good thoughts. I'm sitting around, or I was a school receptionist at that moment, part-time job, so I was going to work in the morning, but still, when I came home, it was like, woe is me. Poor me. That's all I could think.
No,
so
victim
only
mentality.
Negative things.
Yes,
exactly.
You took on that kind of like persona, and I think sometimes, I mean, life's not always high, right? And we have to have the dips to realize our own strengths as well, and how we discover that is only through challenges and obstacles, where we really have to discover again your own strengths. And what did you learn about yourself though during that time?
That I can be foul, that I can be really, really horrible, unforgiving, unkind, unsupportive. I learned a lot of things about myself, but I found the person I am today. And so, like you said, life is a flipping roller coaster.
Absolutely.
The downs, the ups. If you don't have the downs, it's like when people say, what would I teach my younger self? Make mistakes. I wouldn't teach myself anything anyway, because I made mistakes. You've got to make mistakes. You've got to have those challenges.
You have to.
Because they make rounded you.
Character building, I think it really builds character when you're going
and like you said, going to the doctor, when you're going to the doctor and seeing this younger, what did she know? You only know stuff as a midlife person, because we are middle-aged, if you've been through the shitty bit.
Absolutely. You got to have the shitty bits to have the good bits. Definitely. Otherwise you don't even appreciate it. But I feel like they're just character building. I think those episodes in life are just so I think they're much more important than the highs. Like, we can all do the good things in life. We can always go out to the restaurants and go on holidays. But what are you really like? Who are you when things aren't working well? When things aren't going your way? What do you do in those circumstances? And how do you change your life around? That's the most important thing. What is there something that we don't know about you? Because obviously being in the public eye, one knows about everything. But what is there something that nobody knows about you that you like to share? Something that you have a hobby or a habit or something that you do that be really interesting for us to know about you?
Well, other than EastEnders, um,
EastEnders
uh,
fan. Do you miss it?
yeah.
Do you still watch it?
No, I watch it.
Oh, you do?
I watch it. Yeah, I've watched it forever.
Ever? Yeah.
Um, EastEnders. Yeah, I think probably Netflix is my
Yeah.
guilty pleasure.
Oh, it's good.
Generally,
What are you watching at the
I
moment?
love
What
it.
what are you watching at the moment? Have you got a series that you've just watched or you're
I
planning to
love
watch?
Asian Netflix. I'm a
Oh
big.
yes, yes, yeah.
What is it? Is it called K something?
I My friend suggested it. She goes, Mariam, if you start, you won't know any other programs. She goes, it's
I
fascinating.
know, but now that's all it gives me. David will say it's landing on Netflix, and I'll turn it on. It doesn't give me anything English. Everything's
Oh
Korean.
right. Oh, because it's completely changed your algorithm. Yeah, no,
It's learnt me. But yes,
oh,
I love it. They're really
what do you
long.
love about it though? What do you love about it?
I love it. I can cry. I can laugh.
Yeah,
I like that I have to concentrate because there are subtitles,
right.
so I can't be playing on my phone at the same time.
It's like
Um,
full, like 100% concentration. I think that's what people lack
yes,
these days, is to have focus and
yes.
concentration. Yeah, not many people can read a
And they're
book these
so
days.
romantic. The
Oh,
men are so, and and they have an argument and then they bow to each other and leave the room. I love
isn't
it.
that a
There's always
great
a
way?
bad guy
I
and a
think we
good
should adopt
guy,
that.
and
Yeah, in the West, yeah,
oh,
bow to me. Now we've made up.
yes. And a puddle will splash into the road, and the guy will come along and he'll sweep her out of the way of the water.
It's
It's
very
just,
Bollywood as well. I think Bollywood
it's
is losing its
lovely.
chivalry, but yeah, absolutely. Oh, wonderful. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine suggested, and she's like, "Oh, you must watch." And I was like, "If I get addicted, I can't even leave the house anyway at the moment." But yeah,
One of my favorite Bollywood, I don't know if you would still call it Bollywood because it's really old, The Lunchbox. Have you ever seen that?
the
A
lunchbox.
classic Indian movie. Oh,
Oh yes, where she does is it not? Was it the lunchbox? It's like a tiffin. She gives every day
yes.
yeah, oh,
Yes.
brilliant movie. Brilliant.
I
Yeah.
need to watch
I
it
think
again. It is
I think the
so
actor who's
good.
passed away now, I think that's what it is.
Yes.
Irfan Khan, I think it is, isn't it? Yes, brilliant,
Brilliant.
brilliant. Because it's simple, straight to the point, no
Mm,
flashy. Oh my God,
mm,
it's such a great
mm.
story. Like so simple and so
Yes.
well told, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful.
Very, very good,
Yeah.
David.
What do you think the key is to a successful marriage? What
If I
what
knew
is
that, I'd make a lot of
your
money.
what is one thing that you would advise like couples who've been married for a long time? How do you what is a strength or something that we need to be aware of?
Knowing the grass isn't greener. And also, it isn't worth losing the investment. I put 33 years into training him, and I don't want to do it again.
It
That's,
is. Men need to be trained. Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. So that's the only advice I have. It's just not worth it.
Wonderful. So you say that, you want to help women with their passion. How did you find your passion? Because you kind of stumbled into it, or Mimi introduced you to
Oh, I'm
modeling.
stumbling all the time. I,
Stumbling onto new passions. Your
yeah,
passion
well, not
changed
new
also.
passions. Passion is women,
Yes.
helping women. That is my number one
Yeah.
passion. So it's trying
And do
to
you
get
think
through
passions
and
can
find the
change in
answers.
your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s? Yes, but
Oh,
you're allowed to change your passions,
absolutely.
right? I think people are so
Absolutely.
stuck, and especially women, because obviously this podcast is more predominantly for women, how women are stuck on one passion. They think, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I'm like, no,
Mm,
like as you change,
mm,
as you evolve, your life
mm,
evolves and you change, right? Like, so you don't want to be
mm.
that same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And later on, when you've lost your confidence because of the menopause,
Yeah.
you also don't know what it is. You have no idea where to even start. So I'll talk to people and say, right, get a piece of paper, put it somewhere on the wall, put it by your toothbrush, just
Yes.
write your thoughts down,
Yes.
and something will come out of it. Now, if you can't afford to join a group, there are so many groups around these days.
Yes. Yes.
Start a group. because there will be other people in the same shoes as you,
True.
and you can support each other.
Yeah.
It can be ballroom dancing, it can be
Yes.
gardening, it could be modeling,
Yes.
it could be designing clothes, it can be anything. I know a woman who opened a pet shop. She'd wanted one all her life, and she's in central London. I went in, I was just perusing,
Yeah.
and she opened it when she was 50, and she is so
Again,
happy, and it's
yeah.
hugely successful.
And there's no time limit. And you know, where I think when people say you're this age or you can't do this and you can't, I was like, watch me. And that's the attitude you need. You need
Yeah,
to,
give me, challenge me.
yeah, exactly. All right, let me just show you, right? But then let me do
Mm.
it now. And I think that's an attitude that you should have, and that's something you should cultivate. And again, it comes from a good foundation. When you have that self-belief, then comes confidence. How do you cultivate confidence every day, though?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has down days, and that's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to accept that you wake up in the morning and you just think, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want to get up this morning,
Yeah.
for one reason or another. But there'll be the one thing. So for me, it's my little dog, and she'll just come up to the
Yeah.
top of the bed, and I just, warm and break down, and she is full of so much happiness every moment. But I can be driving along in my car, I'll be listening to The Power, and they will say something like, can you see 10 things around you that make you smile or make you happy? And you start looking around and you see things that
Absolutely.
you didn't see, that
Yes.
you were not aware of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
having that audiobook for me that just goes on as soon as I turn my car on,
Yes.
it's awakening.
Yeah. And do you look up to anyone? Are there any, is anybody that's influenced your life? And
My husband,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I really
Your rock.
don't.
He's like your rock.
I, yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't really follow people
Yeah.
that much. I mean, doctors,
Yes.
but not people, really.
Is there a quote that you live by or a mantra that you live by?
Just no. I mean, that probably would change. I'll hear one, I think, oh, that's really good, and then I won't
Yeah.
remember it. When somebody says something on TV too, I say to David, can you remember that for me so that I can remember? So you can tell me when I want to say it. But I truly believe that I am now growing into the person that I was always supposed to be. And
Yes.
I think that we are molded so much in our lives by, and not in any bad way, although it obviously can be bad, but your parents, your husband, your children, your relationships, everything changes you as a person. So later on, you have time to work that out, and maybe the challenge is to come back to the core you and the person that you would have been if you had not been molded by all those people in the past.
Yeah. When I see you on screen, when I've scrolled through your Instagram, you have such grace and style. You speak so eloquently. How would you describe your own style? Has that changed also through the decades? And because comfort is the most important thing. What is your style statement now? What is your signature besides the hair? Besides that.
David is the eloquent one between the two of us.
No, both,
I
both.
am.
No, both.
Uh,
Yeah,
he is a speaker,
yeah,
and so no, that is one of my floundering moments when I have to speak. My style, I would say, is elegant, simple. I mean, today I'm
yeah,
just wearing jeans and a t-shirt,
yeah.
um, with green trainers. I'll show you that.
Oh, wow, nice. Oh, I love them. Oh, lovely. I
I
like a bit
try
of
to
pop
add a
of
little bit
color.
of color, but I'm not a
Yeah,
colorful person. So I like to keep it quite straightforward, not too
yeah,
complicated. So I know what I'm going to wear in the morning. So I'll
yeah.
lie in bed and think, am I going to wear?
What I love and what I've observed, Caroline, is that you speak with your eyes. You have the
Oh,
most hypnotic eyes. I feel you speak
gosh.
with your eyes. And as being a makeup artist, obviously, and a stylist, but I like to observe somebody. But you speak with your eyes. Has anybody
Not
told
always a
that?
good thing.
Well, yeah. Well, at least
I remember
David read you, but and you don't have to say anything. But yeah, but
when Mimi was little, Mimi would say, we'd be in a group of mummies and children, and she'd say, Mum, why are you looking at me like that? Because
yeah.
you're not doing as you're told.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's one of your most beautiful features, and I feel that
Thank you.
it really does help in your shoots and your expressions that you have in your videos. Is there something that you'd like to leave this podcast saying that if you was to share one piece of advice, and that is what you live by for the rest of your life, what is it? The one thing that we can take away?
Put yourself first, I guess, and don't be ashamed.
Yes. I feel again that's one of the things that we don't do as women. We need to put ourselves forward and be brave
Mm.
about it. I was at an exhibition recently, and it was a tech and business exhibition. And one of the speakers said that men, when they apply for a job, they'll just apply for it because they just go for it because they just like they just do it. Women who are
Yeah.
qualified for the job, for the role, will think 100 times, and they'll probably be 90% qualified, but they won't apply for the job, whereas men, they will. So it's very different
Just
mindset.
think it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
They doubt
We
themselves,
are not worthy.
not worthy. They doubt themselves, and then
Mm.
they don't put themselves forward for opportunities. So I think that's what it is, and life's all about creating your own opportunities. Did you create your own
Mm.
opportunities in Dubai? Do you feel that life is different compared to if you had lived here in England?
I have no idea what would be happening if I lived back in.
Yeah.
I do. I'd probably be living in the country. I would have a very, very different life. Very different.
Mm.
Um, yeah, everything. I'm here for a reason, and
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I still get on that roundabout and think I don't even know what exit I'm going to take.
Yes.
Who knows? Who
Yes.
knows what's going to happen tomorrow? But today is a great day.
Oh,
Move forward. Stop regretting and think about the shit that went on behind.
yeah, absolutely.
Move forward and be excited about the future. And that's where I am, being excited about the future, because what are the options? Not being excited,
Yes.
believing it's all going to be negative, believing it's the end.
Mm.
So what choice are you going to
Yes,
take?
absolutely.
Because without you, what's going to happen to your family? What happens?
Hmm.
And also, what are you teaching your family? David
Yes.
didn't ever buy me a birthday cake for when the kids were little.
Is that
And
health?
I'd
Is that
be,
healthy? Is that the health wise or just not?
but I'm just saying that
Yeah.
mummies have birthdays too.
Yeah.
It wasn't up to me to go and buy my birthday cake.
Oh,
But kids are brought up not identifying that their mothers are their own entities.
yes, yes. Mm.
So it's up to us as women to change this.
Yes, yes. How do your friends and family perceive you with now you have like you are successful, you're very visible, you're on social media as an influencer. I would say that you're a role model to so many. Do people in your family or your friends that were in here in England, how do they perceive your success? Have your relationships changed?
Yeah, they're really supportive,
Yeah.
really
Oh,
supportive.
wonderful.
I think it's necessary
Mhm.
that helping people move forward
Yes.
is not giving them a hard time about what they're doing. You might not agree with it, but it's their journey.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm lucky,
Yeah.
supportive. I don't have many girlfriends actually. David is my number one best friend. I have girlfriends, but he's still my best friend.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I think because what happens is because relationships change because as you go through life, I read somewhere, I read this quote which is if you're not losing friends, you're not growing up. And so I find that very interesting because you as a
Wow.
person evolve. And as a person, you are then developing new skills, you're going to new arenas. And some people that you, maybe in your childhood or school friends or even university friends, they have different paths. Everybody has a different
Mm,
path, but
mm.
you will meet people at the right times for the right reasons and you connect for
Yeah,
certain.
people come in and out of your life for a
They
reason,
will,
and they
absolutely.
really do. They can be here for 5 minutes, or they
Yeah.
can be there for
Yes,
5 years or
yes.
plus.
There's friends that I've had I'm a long-term person. I've friends for like last 30 years since boarding school right up to now that I've made new friendships and through friendships through podcasting. I've met such amazing,
Amazing.
wonderful people like yourself that I've connected with who I feel like that just speak to me and I feel like I feel like oh wow, like so inspirational that I want you to share your story with the rest of my audience as well. So you can have
Well,
great
thank you.
friendships at any time. And I don't feel like it's just many how many years you've accumulated, but it's someone who understands you and is there for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So with success comes jealousy. Sometimes people can't understand or comprehend that. So when people step away and then misunderstandings happen. But I do feel that, as you become more successful or you become more prominent, people do perceive you differently.
Well, we perceive ourselves differently too
Yes.
as we grow,
Yeah.
and that's what growing is about, like you said.
Yeah.
Great, though. I love that.
Wonderful.
Losing friends along the way while you're growing.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
You,
good.
you've got to. It's part of life. Like it's like when a tree develops, you got to lose the leaves, and every season. So it's imperative. You've got to like it's autumn, like this beautiful. That's what I love here. So beautiful leaves, the rustle bustle of the leaves on the floor and the beautiful changes of autumn and the colors. But you have to lose your leaves. You have to
Yeah,
let them go. So
to
yeah,
continue
yeah,
growing. Yeah.
absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much for our wonderful conversation. Very
Thank
casual
you.
and inspirational. What is it that you're up to in this next year? Where can we see you? Are you
No idea.
writing?
I know I
Writing
want to be
that
in
life.
England. My mission is to be in England. I'd love to be there every other month at least.
Yes, right. Okay, wonderful. I'll see you on the next trip.
Great.
How's
Thank
it?
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful podcast. And I wish you well in all of your endeavors and a fantastic 25 and beyond.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.